We'll be bringing you an interconference matchup in this one as the Spurs come into town. Welcome, folks, and thanks for sharing part of your weekend with us here at 2K Sports. With David Aldridge on our sideline, and here with me, Greg Anthony and Steve Smith, this is Kevin Harlan. Here in Philadelphia, it's another home game for the 76ers. Well, they come into every game with confidence, and this game is no different. Two elite teams put each other to the test, certainly, every time they meet. A lot on the line in this one, though.
And for Philadelphia, they've had a nice run here to start the season. Up there near the top of the standings and looking like they're comfortable.
More than comfortable. They look dangerous. This isn't a team that's going away anytime soon. Trust me on that.
And before we get underway here, let's send it over to David Aldridge, who was able to talk with Brett Brown.
Guys, he told me their primary focus of the pregame discussion was defense. He said they're dealing with a very sophisticated offense, and it's going to require an outstanding effort from his players at the defensive end to come out on top. Let's see if that's the effort they get. Guys?
Thank you, David. And at this point of the season, Steve, most players have a defined role in what they're expected to do from the coaching staff. Just how important is that to have for players in the NBA to have a roadmap to follow and stay between the lines?
It's extremely important. Reason why is you want to know what a guy's going to bring you night in and night out. And obviously, throughout the game and throughout the season and in playoffs, you have some injuries.
For the Philadelphia 76ers, they won their last contest, that game against the Pistons.
And after that game, it was impressive to look at the box score and see the work they did at the free throw line.
That was a concerted effort to try to get to the line as much as possible, and it really made a difference.
All fueled up and ready to go. Brought to you by Gatorade. Let's check out who's on the floor. On the court for San Antonio, Aldridge is at the 4 with Gasol at the 5. Parker and Green are the guard set, and it's Anderson in at the 3 spot. Now here's Simmons. Kicks to Covington. This one for 3. Comes out of the gate empty. He's 0 for 1.
Getting there up in age. We know Tony Parker was the Spurs' top scorer for half a decade from 2011 on. Their offense was built around his slashing ability.
And Simmons kicks to Embid. Gasol with the steal. And stolen by Redick. A little over a minute gone here in the first quarter. There's the pass to Covington. A three-pointer, no good. Well, it was the San Antonio Spurs winning their last game against the Grizzlies.
And anytime you come off the bench, you know your role. And that night, it was about scoring.
Especially on the road. You're hoping for any extra contributions. But for a couple of stretches, there, the backups control the game.
And as you approach that midway point of the season, Steve, the pecking order pretty clear. Is it possible for a team to suddenly kick into a high gear and forget what's happened the first half and be completely different the second half of the season?
You know, sometimes a tweak of the lineup, a guy has been out because of injury, or a huge trade can definitely kickstart a lot of teams, and you just start to play better. But one thing is, when you start to hit that chemistry, that continuity, and everything is clicking, the unselfishness, yes, you can. You can have it happen in the midseason. With the acquisition of LaMarcus Aldridge, the Spurs going against the grain. Most teams going small and shooting threes. Aldridge, a big forward who loves the mid-range.
Now, here's Redick. He picked up 18 points in their last win against Detroit.
And he was also a terrific creator in that game as well. His assist total show you what a fantastic all-around effort it was.
And with Aldridge in the paint alongside another 7-footer, the Spurs have plenty of length inside.
Yeah, they do. LaMarcus Aldridge with pretty good mobility for a player his height. He's able to move his feet defensively and cover the pick and roll perfectly.
4 on the clock. Here's Aldridge. Good, and the assist goes to Gasol.
Some people claim that Aldridge is a finesse player, but he can get physical when he wants to.
Green against Redick. Pass to Simmons. Here's Sharch. It's good from long range. Sharch has got himself going there. His first points of the game on the deep ball.
And, guys, this is what you like to see early on, gaining a little confidence from range.
Makeable shot for him. Number gets called, and he goes ahead and delivers.
Now, here's Green. Taking a look at his stats, he's averaging around 9.5 points a game. Here's Redick. No good. That would have tied it. San Antonio leading. And here in the first, about 3 minutes in. Green dishes to Aldridge. Gasol a screen. Back to Green. Off to a good start as he hits his first shot attempt.
And early on, they've been nearly perfect from the floor. Just the one miss here on their first 5 attempts.
Screen by Sharich. Simmons against Green. And Gasol sends it back.
And for his career among active players, Pau Gasol top 3 in block shots.
Anderson passes to Parker. Back to Anderson. Feeds to Gasol. Inside. Aldridge kicks to Gasol. Kept alive. A second chance effort. And he makes the bucket. Drew contact and gets the whistle too.
Attacking the rack to great effect. And LaMarcus Aldridge really possesses tremendous shooting touch when you consider this guy's basically a 7-footer, and he's increasing that range. Last season, up over 40% from 3.
Here's what Philadelphia is going with right now. Nick Stauskas is checked in for Robert Covington, and it's T.J. McConnell in for Dario Saric. That one misses. And Aldridge doesn't shoot a ton of threes, yet he still earns his keep in that mid-range.
Yeah, on that left block, back to the basket, and with his size, that turnaround Jay is just about unstoppable. And B.Simmons, who was the first pick in 2016 out of LSU, probably the most heralded player to come out of that school since the great Shaquille O'Neal. And I tell you what, Simmons has drawn some comparisons to some other greats, most notably LeBron James and Magic Johnson.
Gentlemen, 2 shots. Loose shots.
No good on that one. And Greg, the Sixers want to ease him into it, but they see B.Simmons not just as a point forward, but a point guard as well.
And he's got all the ability. Think about this. The Sixers haven't had a player 6'10 or taller average over 3 assists since Wilt Chamberlain back in 1967. The second they drafted Simmons, you knew that would change.
And the second free throw, good.
And really few teams in NBA history have undertaken the sort of extreme makeover the Sixers did over the last 4 years, and a lot of losing along the way, but the fans have been surprisingly supportive of the rebuilding process.
Count it, good.
And the story here, Kevin, early on is how well they've shot the basketball.
The 76ers trail by 7. Dishes it to Bayless. Pass to Stauskas. Now here's McConnell, covered by Mills. Now McConnell. And looking at his production, he averages a little more than 7 points a game. And before the rebuild, the Sixers for a long time were stuck in mediocrity, treading water, Greg, as they might say.
Yeah, and it's hard to make that leap without top draft picks. And the Sixers plumbed the depths, if you will. Now, though, I think they found their treasure trove.
And Philadelphia decides to take their first timeout right here.
And this is what you got to do. I mean, if it ain't working, call timeout, try to figure out what you can do to fix the problem.
You know, also, it's just a chance to take a breath, regroup, get your mind set, and come back out fresh. Pau Gasol, as skilled of a big man as you'll find in this league, in my opinion. Passing, shooting, handling, you name it.
The Spurs making a switch here. Forbes checked in. Just a moment to look back at how things were last season for this team as we look at the shot breakdown for Philadelphia.
And they really based almost their entire offense around the three-point shot. Spread the floor, space the defense, and if the deep shots aren't falling, at least it should open things up inside.
No good from Simmons. We were just talking about Powell's shooting last season. He shot almost 55% from three-point range. How about that?
That's how you fend off Father Time. Keep adding layers to your game.
I don't know if you can do it any better on both ends than they have tonight.
It's early, but they have taken full control of this game, and the fans here, they know it.
Now here's Simmons. As you can see from his numbers, he's been a key component in their offense. He's averaging almost 18 points a game. Simmons against Gay. The dish to Aldridge. Mills in the corner. No good on the triple. The 76ers trail by 13. Here's Simmons. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up. And the Spurs with Pau Gasol and LaMarcus Aldridge up front. A huge front court, long front court. Steve, is that something they can stick with when teams like the Warriors go small?
No, I don't think so, Kevin. That's a challenge for them. Aldridge has to cover the 4 in those situations, and Gasol just doesn't have the lateral mobility at this point in his career.
Take a break. 2 shots.
The first one falls.
And for the Sixers, trust the process was the motto. And the process now finally bearing fruit. You see the young talent. Now it's about figuring out how all these pieces fit together.
And so he hits both. You were talking about the fit for these young Sixers. A bit of a logjam in recent seasons in their front court.
Yeah, I mean, they were in talent acquisition mode, just going for the best player available. And now as they see things taking shape, it's time to try and balance the roster.
And let's quickly check out the best young defenders and how they've been playing in the low post lately. Your rookie block leaders for the past month. Ben Simmons, number 1.
He's been a factor on the inside, an impressive stretch for him defensively.
The free throw drops for Gay.
In the Spurs last season, how about setting the all-time record for consecutive winning seasons with 20? This is a group that's won 50 or more games in every one of those seasons except the strike-shortened one in '99.
He doesn't get the second one. And Greg, for the Spurs, they're so competitive. It's inevitable. They just win year after year.
Yeah, but that big 3 of Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili, the all-time winningest trio in the history of our league, had a lot to do with it. And as that era comes to an end, they're doing a terrific job of just picking up new star talent without skipping a beat.
Here's Aldridge. Philadelphia able to drain the 3. And that one goes out of bounds. Last touch by Simmons.
Just active defensively here, being extremely disruptive.
You know, I love the effort just to get a hand in there. He is disrupting the offensive flow.
And the 76ers making a change here. Luawu's checked in. Now here's Mills. He's coming off a 10-point game against Memphis. Again, the miss by the Spurs.
And that one gives them a +5 rebound advantage, Kevin.
McConnell kicks to Simmons. There's Bayless with the 3. He can't hit that time. And so it's San Antonio in control with a 9-point lead to end the quarter. They've been playing some ferocious defense. We'll return shortly.